A growing number of young people are becoming addicted to the ADHD prescription drug Adderall. Experts say most of them don't even need it.
Drug Enforcement Agency classifies Adderall in the same category as cocaine and morphine. Its active ingredient is nearly identical to the one in speed, making it highly addicting.
1 in 3 senior citizens dies with Alzheimer's disease or another form of dementia. According to the report, Alzheimer's disease is now the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S. It is the only leading cause of death without a way to prevent, cure, or even slow its progression.
Sales for ADHD drugs like Adderall and Concerta topped $9 billion in the U.S. last year, a more than 500% jump from a decade before. The radical spike in diagnoses has coincided with a 20-year marketing effort to promote stimulant prescriptions for children struggling in school, as well as for adults seeking to take control of their lives. The marketing effort has relied on studies and testimonials from a select group of doctors who've received massive speaking fees and funding grants from major pharmaceutical companies.
Hi, this is David, and in this short presentation, which won't be up for long, I'm going to obliterate the lies we've been fed about our ability to attain laser-like focus, deep and long-lasting concentration, and possess a steel-trap memory. Reveal the real reason you or someone you love may be suffering from more and more forgetfulness creeping into your day, beside yourself with ADD symptoms, or even the painful and gut-wrenching disease like Alzheimer's. And I'll show you how to transform even the most scattered, foggy, absent-minded person who thinks they are just getting older, or that that's just the way it is, into a razor-sharp, focused, and clear-headed mental gymnast who can absorb, learn, and even memorize vast amounts of technical information, regardless of age. In fact, even though this might sound impossible now, after you watch this presentation and follow the simple steps I share with you, like thousands of grateful folks have before you, your coworkers, boss, spouse, and even your friends will be shocked at the staggering transformation you go through, almost overnight. How suddenly, even in high-pressure moments, you find your mind quiet, clear, and calm as a kung fu master, ready to calmly and effortlessly take on anything that comes their way. And how those senior moments, like walking into a room and forgetting why you were there in the first place, wondering where you put your keys, or forgetting the name of someone you've known forever, becomes a distant memory. And how learning new things, no matter how sudden, or playing memory games where you amaze your friends, becomes your irresistible new favorite hobby. I'm going to reveal the secret in just a second, but before I do, I need to talk about the big brain lies we've had drilled into our minds since childhood that keep us from having the sharp, youthful, fluid mind you want now, and that enslave millions of us in a mentally decaying and over-medicated society. What's the big brain lie that's keeping you from deep and natural mental focus, concentration, and memory at any age? The big lie is the false idea that our brains, which actually can adapt and modify itself to focus on, learn, and recall new information at any age, are destined to grow old and decay as we get older. That as we age, our brains naturally get older, shut down our ability to learn new things, whether it's technical or tedious, and that's just the way it is. That we can't retain a bear-trap memory that astounds our friends well through our 60s and beyond. That there's nothing we can do about the nightmare of Alzheimer's disease, ravaging our population like a mental black plague spreading through the population. The truth is that many people, even entire populations, are living well into their 70s without any signs of dementia or Alzheimer's, and without any difficulty focusing, concentrating, or remembering. And any person can keep their brain as fit as a child's well into their later years by following a few easy yet profound steps. I know this sounds like a big claim, so let me explain right now. If you're like most folks I've helped over the years, you've probably followed a variation of this all-too-common story. When you were younger, you were probably into sports, or you had a hobby, or some kind of activity where you would easily get into the zone. You remember what the zone felt like? It was that mental state we'd get into, where we could mentally lock in on our target and have the focus and concentration of a heat-seeking missile, where even if all hell was breaking loose around us, we could calmly and effortlessly stay locked on to what we were doing. But now that we're older, with a job, kids, bills, and demands placed on us every day, we can't even remember the last time we've even been in the zone. More and more, we're feeling overwhelmed, where we can't cope with all the things we have to remember, all the things we need to plan for, and all the things we need to do. Even worse, sometimes, we feel like a fraud. Like when we're in front of our boss, in a meeting with colleagues or clients, or our grandkids, where we have to pretend we have it all together, but secretly inside, we are barely keeping up. What were those old stories we used to hear about our parents and grandparents, where they're looking for their glasses for half an hour only to find it on their head, or when they tried to straighten out the wrinkles in their socks to discover they weren't wearing any, or when they walked into a room and say, "I can't remember why I came in here"? Did you just chuckle at those, or did you start to have that nervous sinking feeling? Because you know from personal experience, you may be turning into one of those so-called old people, where now you're the one having those senior moments. I've talked to dozens of people about this, and over again, I see the same pattern. As soon as you reach a certain age, it starts to creep up on you. First was a forgetful moment here and there, but now, with smartphones, tablets, laptops, cable TV, commercials, billboards, emails, text, Facebook, it's virtually impossible to focus. You have multiple thoughts racing through your head. You get overwhelmed, anxious, and give up or just guess at things. Sometimes you're trying really hard to concentrate on what someone is saying, and mid-sentence they stop, peer into your eyes, and ask, "Are you listening to me?" And really well-meaning people suddenly repeatedly tell you, "Just pay attention," or "Just focus," or worse, "There's an app for that." Yeah, right. Even worse, some of you may know someone who has heard these three bone-chilling words. You have Alzheimer's, where you will slowly begin to forget who your children are, who your spouse is, what your own name is. I pray this never happens to you or someone you love. I've seen it firsthand, and it is the most gut-wrenching experience you can ever imagine. To see someone you've loved your whole life look into your eyes and ask, "Who are you?" These things may or may not sound familiar to you, but if they do, believe me, you certainly aren't alone. Most adults today are in that agonizing situation. Okay, now for the big question you've probably asked yourself again and again, while you or someone you care about is suffering from any of these focus, concentration, or memory issues. Isn't there a better way? Why does it seem that every medical solution involves just managing your symptoms, or giving you the latest mental disability label rather than curing it? Or to pop a mind-altering, toxic, and potentially addictive pill, while any mention of a full, complete cure is always regarded as a long shot, even though we have the most advanced technology in history. And then there's the even bigger question. Why do some people, and even entire cultures, seem to be immune and completely free from ADD, ADHD, forgetfulness, brain fog, dementia, or Alzheimer's? They seem to possess razor-sharp, childlike curiosity and the ability to soak up and retain information like a sponge, even into their 70s and beyond, while the rest of us are medicating ourselves with pills, coffee, and sugar, only to become addicted or suffer a mind-bending energy plunge in a few hours. The good news is that study after study has proven one amazing fact about our brains that, once you accept it, will allow you to turn your brain into your most powerful friend for the rest of your life. What's the big revelation? Okay, this may sound hard to believe for you. It certainly sounded hard to believe for me when I was going through the hundreds of case studies. And it was still unbelievable when I personally saw it reverse mental disabilities doctors said were genetic. The reason why some people and cultures manage to live their entire lives without any debilitating lack of concentration and forgetfulness has nothing to do with their genes or with a chemical imbalance. And it certainly doesn't have anything to do with the level of medical technology or education they've had. Sure, there were a few extreme cases I've seen and read about, like a person being on medication and unable to focus for years, and suddenly never needing them again because, as he put it, my mind lit up. Everything became so crystal clear. But almost all medical case studies revealed that the reason why some people have a lifetime of clear, lucid thinking, quick, easy recall, and the ability to learn new things quickly and easily is because of one particular ability our brains have that scientists have recently discovered. It's an ability the rest of us aren't even using to its fullest extent. And here's the kicker. As technology advances, this ability becomes weaker. It corrodes like a piece of metal left out in the rain. What's this secret ability? It's going to sound overly simple, but here it is. It's called brain plasticity. Here's what this is all about. Our brains, your brain, is wired in a plastic way. Plastic meaning it can adapt. It can change. It is flexible. It can be molded like clay. You see, your brain contains roughly 100 billion nerve cells called neurons, and they are in a constant dynamic state of remodeling. Just like your muscles go through physical changes when they are used, your brain does as well. In fact, it is changing every second of our lives. All the experiencing and learning we do causes our brain neurons to grow and make connections to help us retain what we've learned and remember what we've experienced. In a strong, fit, and healthy brain, as neurons become stimulated, they create more branches, so they can communicate more rapidly and efficiently. The healthier your neurons are, the more connections they make with each other, and the more branches they build. As these connections build and your brain responds faster, it helps you solve problems easier. Remember the first time you drove a car? It was confusing and overwhelming, right? But now you can drive a car without even thinking. That is a result of this brain plasticity that I'm talking about. It's the brain's ability to adapt and change like a muscle. Not only that, it's the key to attaining sharp, clear, laser-like focus, memory, concentration, and even intelligence at any age. The more plastic your brain is, the faster you can learn things, the more control you have over your attention and focus. And the more you can remember and recall names, dates, addresses, or anything you need to thrive and live a happy life. The less plastic it is, the more your brain acts like a thick, dark cloud, causing memory loss, a noisy, hectic, and anxious mind, and even depression. And not to mention the slow, agonizing, and deadly disease of dementia, or worse, Alzheimer's. But the fact is, there is no reason we have to succumb to any degenerative brain illnesses as we age. In fact, a landmark study by Harvard researchers found that your brain can develop new neural pathways at any age. These pathways allow you to make and store memories as well as learn new things. With the ability to create new neural pathways and connections, we can access memories faster, store more information easier, banish brain fog, and create clarity of mind when we want. By creating and using our neural pathways, it's like polishing off a complex set of electrical cables so information can travel lightning fast. There will be no gunk or blockages there to prevent us from focusing when we need to. Imagine getting into the zone anytime you want for as long as you want. Crystal clear thinking on demand. Able to stay on task without forgetting what you were doing. Think about it. Mahatma Gandhi was 61 when he began his 240-mile march to the sea. He later became the leader of independent India. Benjamin Franklin was 70 years old when he helped draft the Declaration of Independence, and 81 when he signed the U.S. Constitution. Julia Child continued to cook, write, and produce cooking shows well into her 80s. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter remains politically active well into his 80s. Verdi composed the opera Apollo when he was 73 years old. Warren Buffett makes modern markets with his legendary unpredictable investment strategies and at 81. Those are just a few examples of the many people who were able to accomplish great things at an age where experts are telling us it can't be done, and that the only solution is to take a drug. The truth is, you are no different from those incredible individuals. There's no reason why you can't keep learning new things and performing as well or better than you did when you were younger. That's why I want to get this information into your hands right now. I want you to know every breakthrough I've discovered that can keep your mind, your memory, and brain laser sharp for life. Well, now you're probably begging to know. If it's possible to have that kind of brain power at that age, why am I struggling so much right now? Well, it all comes down to brain plasticity and the factors that destroy it and turn your brain rigid, aging, and crusty. If you think I'm being overly dramatic, here is a picture of a healthy brain next to a brain of someone who died from Alzheimer's. Pretty scary, right? Now here's the part you'll really want to know. That brain shrunk and decayed over a long time. The signs were there decades ago. Signs like forgetfulness, inability to concentrate, difficulty solving problems or planning, misplacing things, changes in mood or personality. Any of that sound familiar? If it does, or if it describes someone you care about, then keep watching. What is about to follow can not only keep your mind flexible, active, sharp, and healthy, it can also save your life. So let's dive into it. There are 4 main factors that destroy brain plasticity. The first is lack of oxygen. For our brains to remain fit, just like the rest of our body, it needs an ample supply of life-giving, cell-generating oxygen. This may surprise you, but even though your brain weighs only about 3 pounds, it uses about 25% of all your body's oxygen. Yet studies have shown conclusively that our brain's oxygen levels have dramatically declined over time. You see, just because you breathe doesn't mean your brain gets all the oxygen it can. Oxygen needs to go from your lungs to your blood, then from your blood to your cells. The more sedentary our lifestyle, the less we exercise, the less oxygen gets into our cells, especially our brain cells. Our brains are at the top of our bodies, so it is a fight against gravity to get blood and the oxygen it contains up to the brain. That's also why people always tell me that when they go for a jog or a workout or even for a long walk, that's when they get their best ideas. They're getting a surge of oxygen pumping into their brains. When our brains don't get enough oxygen, we experience symptoms like low brain endurance, poor focus and concentration, the need to drink coffee to improve brain function, cold hands and feet, poor nail health or fungal growth on toes, the need to wear socks at night, or the cold tip of a nose. If you are experiencing any of those symptoms, the lack of oxygen to the brain is what we want to look at first. Now on the other side of things, if you watch a professional sports team at a major game and look at their eyes, that is the look of focus. But look around at an office after lunchtime, and this is what you see. But you don't need to be a professional athlete to get unshakable focus. There is exciting news I will let you know about in a few minutes. About natural herbs, botanicals, and supplements that have been discovered to dramatically increase oxygen to the brain. You don't have to be a professional athlete to get that kind of oxygenation to your brain. They don't replace exercise, but boy do they help when you have a busy schedule and a demanding situation coming up, like a sudden large project you have to take over at work, or when you have to study for an exam. I'll get you into what those new discoveries are in just a few moments, so keep watching. Now, the second factor that destroys brain plasticity is the lack of a steady supply of blood sugar. Blood sugar, or glucose, is the gasoline of the brain. Now, here's an interesting fact most folks haven't been told. Your brain burns up about 1/3 of all blood sugar in your body. That's a staggering amount. Not only that, when your brain doesn't get enough glucose, massive amounts of neurons literally wither away and die. And this speeds along your own brain degeneration. So to state it simply and clearly, starving your brain of optimal levels of glucose actually causes brain damage. One of the most essential things a person can do for the health of their brain is work toward keeping blood sugar levels optimum. You see, when our blood sugar crashes, we get brain fog, feel sleepy, and sometimes even get the shakes. Well, when that happens, what is it that most of us do right away? Reach for the coffee. But unfortunately, coffee makes things much worse. Coffee can give us that initial jolt we're looking for, but studies have shown that caffeine causes your brain's blood vessels to constrict. That's why we always crash again after drinking coffee. And that creates a downward spiral throughout our day, where our blood sugar crashes, we drink coffee, our blood vessels constrict, we crash, then we drink more coffee and repeat the cycle downward towards pure exhaustion. Near the end of this presentation, I will show you exactly how you can stabilize your blood sugar and drastically reduce or eliminate the desire for coffee, so stay tuned. But first I want to go over the third factor that destroys brain plasticity, and it is what I call a deficiency in what I call your brain's smart chemical. Our brain naturally creates chemicals that act like messengers between nerve cells. You may have heard of them before. They are called neurotransmitters. The ones we hear about a lot are dopamine, which makes us feel euphoric, like when we fall in love, or the high we feel when we are rewarded for a huge accomplishment. Another neurotransmitter we are familiar with is endorphins. This is what gives us that runner's high, or what we feel during sex. We also hear about serotonin, the natural chemical our brain produces that makes us feel calm, happy, and relaxed. But one we haven't heard much of is a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. I know, it sounds like a complicated word, and you don't have to worry about remembering it. But what you do need to know is that it's the brain's smart chemical. It is the chemical that helps us learn and remember things. Clinical studies have shown that people with high levels of acetylcholine are able to focus, absorb, and remember new things faster and easier. People with low amounts of this smart chemical have memory lapses, forget what they were saying in the middle of conversations, and have to start over. Their creativity is impaired, and so is their ability to grasp and absorb information. Not only that, people with low levels of acetylcholine have difficulty calculating numbers. They also respond slower to everything that comes at them in life. If you've ever driven behind someone going about 25 or 30 miles an hour on a busy road, when everyone else is doing 50 or 60, you know exactly what I mean. It doesn't do any good to honk at them, as they have no idea they are driving so slowly. But more importantly, they aren't able to go faster because of the low levels of acetylcholine. Low levels of acetylcholine forces your brain to feel like it's trudging through tar. You see, acetylcholine is one of the key factors to helping your brain remain plastic and adaptable to new information. In a minute, I will show you how to increase the levels of acetylcholine in your brain naturally. But before I do, I want to first reveal the last enemy of brain plasticity, and it is none other than stress. Throughout our lives, we've heard how stress affects our health. Now, science has finally caught up with irrefutable proof about the slow but devastating toll it takes on our brains. Nothing is more damaging to the brain than stress. Stress shrinks the entire brain, and it also causes the brain to swell and get inflamed. Stress also destroys something called the blood-brain barrier, which is the precious lining that protects our brain from toxins, whether they come from outside our body or inside our own bodies. Today, the word stress conjures images of running late while sitting in rush hour traffic, rushing the kids from one activity to the next, scrambling to get dinner made, working 2 jobs, juggling a full college course load with a full-time job, and maybe raising children at the same time, or suffering a toxic work environment with an awful boss. But that is not the kind of stress I'm talking about. I'm talking about the chronic stress we all suffer from that goes on for years. Stress from a poor diet, lack of sleep, not enough exercise, constant use of sugar and caffeine to stimulate us, a sedentary lifestyle where we are hunched over our desk staring at a computer screen with poor posture, which leads to some kind of body pain or another. These are all the little things that add up and accumulate to create a massive strain on your body and become toxic to your brain. Remember when I talked about how low oxygen reduces brain plasticity? Well, when we are stressed, oxygen levels to the brain decrease. And remember when I talked about blood sugar imbalances? Well, whether it is a short, sudden burst of stress or stress over a long time, it throws our blood sugar levels out of whack. And when our blood sugar levels crash, our brain starves. And as we already know, this starvation leads to neurons dying. But more importantly, stress releases a hormone, a stress hormone. And today, study after study is finding that this stress hormone literally erodes a certain area of the brain. It's the area of the brain that turns short-term memory to long-term memory. So when it starts to corrode, we have a harder and harder time learning and remembering. Not only that, if you think about how many people you know who struggle with insomnia or have a hard time getting going in the morning, you won't be surprised to find that these are other signs that our stress hormones are elevated way, way too high and for far too long. Is it any wonder that we are finding people today having a harder time focusing, learning, and remembering things? And unfortunately, in our current culture, we are conditioned to push ourselves until something breaks. And that's when we end up seeing a doctor. And oftentimes, doctors are finding that it is just too late. Now, you want to make sure that you are getting enough exercise to keep oxygen flowing to your brain. You want to make sure you are cutting back on sugary foods, having protein regularly, and eating breakfast, so you keep your brain's blood sugar levels steady and optimal. And you also want to get to sleep earlier, take more breaks in your day, avoid toxic relationships, and do more things to relax and enjoy yourself to reduce stress. And before this presentation ends, I will show you tips and tricks to do all these things. But let's be realistic. In today's world, it is nearly impossible to do all those things at the level we should, at least not overnight. How do I know? Because of my years of helping clients with their nutrition and helping individuals restore optimum brain fitness. But just because it can take time to make those changes, it doesn't mean that you have to wait for the results. This is where brain nutrients come into the picture. Science has discovered a host of amazing nutrients we can supplement our diets with that solve all these problems. Through the years, I've studied dozens of brain nutrients to help myself and my clients. There were a few I found that produced spectacular results, but it wasn't consistent for everyone. Eventually, I had a breakthrough. I realized it wasn't just having a certain combination of nutrients or having the highest quality of nutrients that created the fastest and most dramatic results. It was having the right formulation that caused the breakthrough. Let me explain what I mean. To address the lack of oxygen, I always use the highest quality nutrients called ginkgo biloba and L-arginine. Ginkgo biloba has been found to increase memory, attention, and concentration by increasing oxygen to the brain. People report a clearer mind, fewer headaches, and greater short-term memory. L-arginine is an amino acid that also increases oxygen to the brain as well, and it is also proven to increase brain plasticity. Specifically, it helps the brain increase neuron growth. But not only that, it is also proven to lower blood pressure, increase sex drive, and reduce joint pain. To combat the effects of stress on the brain, I use an amino acid called L-glycine. L-glycine is an amino acid that is created naturally in our body, but is usually very low for people who have had a high-sugar diet and prolonged levels of stress. L-glycine helps optimize blood sugar, so much so that doctors have been using it to help people with diabetes. And as you now know, keeping your blood sugar level is one of the keys to maintaining brain plasticity. But not only that, those who take L-glycine report feeling calmer and more focused because of that. They also fall asleep easier, sleep deeper, and stop waking up at 3 a.m. Now, remember the smart chemical I talked about earlier? The one called acetylcholine? This next nutrient, choline, literally rebuilds and refills your acetylcholine in your brain. Not only that, I also use another amino acid called DL-phenylalanine, which has been discovered to not only boost alertness and concentration, but also increase attention span so you can spend longer periods of time focused and attentive. I cannot tell you to stop any medication your doctor has prescribed for you. But I can say that people have come off antidepressants and ADHD medications just from this amino acid alone. These aren't all the ingredients I use, but they are some of the most powerful. Other ingredients I use like GABA, L-glutathione, ginseng, all have a powerful effect on repairing brain atrophy caused by stress. Each of these nutrients can create amazing results as long as you take the right amount, at the right times, and know you're getting the highest quality that you can. But the real breakthrough was discovering a specific formula and amounts of each taken together. All other percentages and combinations we tried didn't have the same effect we found with this one formula. After years of trial and error and having to take these supplements individually, I've perfected the formula, tested it with clients. And my team has been able to put all these nutrients into a capsule form so you can take them with your meals or whenever you need them. Together, all these ingredients flood your brain with oxygen, optimize your blood sugar levels, dramatically reduce the effects of stress on your brain, and last but not least, they dramatically increase the level of your brain's smart chemical that your brain produces. And it's all natural, so they're safe and they don't cause any side effects. Once this happens, all sorts of exciting changes start to happen. You experience a cool, calm, focused energy start to surge within your mind. Some will feel it right away, and some will take longer. Cobwebs clear out of your mind, and focusing and paying attention becomes easy and effortless. New information glides into your mind, easy to grasp and easy to remember. Focusing at work is easier than ever before. You can hone in on what you need to do and lock on it until it's done. You feel smarter, more productive, more creative because of the increase in acetylcholine ramping up your ability to absorb and process new information. Also, many no longer have the need for coffee or caffeine, as their minds are now naturally awake and able to get more energy from oxygen, optimum blood sugar levels, and much higher levels of smart chemical. If you've had trouble losing weight in the past, it could be because the lack of oxygen, blood sugar imbalances, and fogging thinking have forced you to eat sugary foods to get that perk. You'll also notice those carb and sugar cravings fade away. You actually find yourself craving good, healthy foods that make you look and feel great. So, long story short, as people, coworkers, friends, and families notice the change in you, they won't know you've got this ace-in-the-hole brain formula, your secret weapon. Unfortunately, as more people are becoming aware of the power of these brain nutrients, many fly-by-night companies have sprouted up, selling low-quality versions, throwing combinations together randomly using so many artificial fillers that they are too weak to show any effect. My team and I took a different approach and spent 36 months analyzing hundreds of different sources and combinations, clinical studies and reports put together by respected institutes such as Harvard Medical School, the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, the National Biotechnology Information, the Journal of Neurosciences, and many more. Our goal was to develop the most powerful brain plasticity nutrient supplement ever created. One that would quickly and efficiently destroy the barriers to effortless natural focus, attention, concentration, and prevent future degenerative brain diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. Several different combinations of brain nutrients and sources were tested before we found a clear winner, a groundbreaking formula we call Brain Maxima. Brain Maxima is a super brain nutrient supplement complex containing 12 individual and powerful brain-enhancing nutrients per capsule. We designed Brain Maxima to address every issue of short and long-term brain health and function, to bring your mind back to a youthful ability to focus and learn rapidly no matter how out of control your focus may seem now. Here's just what a few of our clients had to say about it. I was very surprised at how effective this is. As I get older, I'm finding it more difficult to focus on things, and my short-term memory seems to be spotty. Nothing major, but it's enough that it's annoying. Almost like a mild case of adult attention deficit disorder. I was easily distracted, couldn't seem to finish projects, etc. A doctor friend suggested I give this a try. I honestly wasn't expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. The effect was apparent within a couple of days for me. I noticed an increase in energy and less fragmented focus. I could start a task and easily finish it quickly without getting pulled into some tangential project. L. Mountford, Washington. This stuff is potent, and I have noticed a difference in memory retention and a small but noticeable cognitive improvements. M. Robertson, Virginia. Jennifer says, I really feel like this is helping me remember things more quickly. I don't feel quite as dull when listening and engaging others. Isn't that amazing? It's crazy to think that even 10 years ago, most people had no idea what brain plasticity was or how severely it was affecting people. Now we receive letters like this from people who have had their lives transformed by these simple but powerful brain nutrients. What makes us so proud of Brain Maxima? Here are 5 reasons why Brain Maxima is so effective. Number 1, we carefully chose sources that are the most potent and have the highest quality. It won't do any good if it's so weak that you don't experience any effect. That's why we engineered Brain Maxima to be as pure and potent as possible without unnecessary fillers, allowing it to enter your bloodstream and to take effect as quickly as possible. Number 2, Brain Maxima is gluten and lactose-free. This is very important. Many companies use fillers in their capsules that contain gluten or lactose, which can actually upset your stomach and cause brain inflammation. Brain Maxima is gluten-free, lactose-free, and completely allergen-free, meaning even those with food allergies can take them safely. Number 3, every bottle of Brain Maxima is tested for potency, once by us and then again by an independent third party before it gets to you. And this next one is very important. Number 4, our supplier for the strains themselves is the same supplier that was used in 90% of the clinical studies done on the ingredients. This means these nutrients are proven to work. The 5th reason is something I'm sure you'll appreciate. You see, the problem with many brain supplements, even the good ones, is that they give you nasty digestive problems that leave you running to the bathroom or double over with cramps. We addressed that challenge with Brain Maxima, taking special care to make it digestion-friendly, so you can take it daily with total confidence. Now you have 2 choices. You can use the information I've given you so far. You can try to apply it on your own. With enough trial and error, you might be able to get similar results that you get when you simply take Brain Maxima. If you don't mind spending an extra few $100s a month, the time, the energy, and cope with the inevitable frustration, this is a viable option. Or you can try Brain Maxima for yourself, risk-free. When we finalized this formula, our biggest fear was that because it contains such high-end, pure, and potent ingredients, it could one day become too expensive to produce and offer to the public at a reasonable price. So instead of putting it in stores, we decided to go a different route. We decided to deliver directly to the consumer and cut out the middleman. It's the only way we can maintain our stringent quality standards and still get you the best brain nutrient formula at a price that is affordable. That is why we are very excited to be able to offer Brain Maxima at just $89.95 for a 1-month supply. But since you're watching this presentation, you have a chance to get in on a special offer we are making just for the next 24 hours and for new customers only. Because we want as many people to try Brain Maxima as possible so they can see the benefits for themselves, we are allowing those who order through this presentation only and for the next 24 hours only to try Brain Maxima for just $59.95. You save $30 a bottle over our regular price. The $59.95 is a one-time charge. We never do any sort of auto billing or continuous shipping. What you see is what you get. Best of all, you'll be grandfathered in at this price on all future orders you decide to make with us, even if our regular price goes up. That's just $1.93 a day to feel your best and get your mind running the way it was designed. That's a whole lot cheaper than buying a cup of veggie juice or a cup of Starbucks every day, but does so much more for your overall health and for your life. You'll also begin to save on your food costs as you are no longer craving sugary snacks. Plus, you'll likely feel the desire to eat much less in general. When you click on the link below, you'll be taken to our secure server, which is encrypted with the latest 228-bit security for your total protection. Simply select the Brain Maxima package that is right for you. Then fill in your shipping and credit card information. We'll rush the Brain Maxima to your door. Orders placed before 6 p.m. Pacific go out the very same day. We pride ourselves on customer satisfaction. That's why Brain Maxima comes with a 365-day, no questions asked, full money-back guarantee. If after taking Brain Maxima, you don't see dramatic improvements to your health and overall wellness, simply send back the unused portion for a fast and full refund. We feel you should give it at least 1 month to allow Brain Maxima to work its magic, as some have more repair that is needed than others. So, feel free to use the entire month's supply if you need to. Even if you're not satisfied, you can send us back the empty bottle and we'll still give you a full, no questions asked refund. If you aren't satisfied, then we aren't satisfied. So click on the link below now to try Brain Maxima at the special introductory price, totally risk-free. Oh, and before I go, I feel it's important I tell you about one more thing. It's important we talk about the cost of not taking care of your brain, because this is not a problem that fixes itself. If you're currently suffering from an inability to focus, memory lapses, absent-mindedness, inability to concentrate for long periods of time, feel overwhelmed when learning things, or a heavy mental fogginess, then chances are you are one of the 80% of Americans who has some form of brain starvation or brain atrophy. Unless you are willing to make an immediate drastic change in your lifestyle and diet, symptoms will only worsen for you as your brain continues to suffocate and neurons continue to die. Think of it this way. Imagine if all of a sudden you decided to jog 20 miles a day but starve yourself at the same time. Your muscles would slowly start to waste away. That shrinkage and wastage is just what goes on with your brain when it's overused and starved. Your brain is the control center of your whole life. It is an organ you cannot live without, and it cannot be replaced. Untreated, it could begin to affect your health in ways I would never wish upon anyone. The scariest part is that with millions of people sinking into dementia and Alzheimer's disease, when the signs can be spotted so early and so much can be done to prevent it, it's urgent that you get this handled now, before it's too late. Fortunately, there is an easy way to fight back against the effects of stress, diet, and lack of oxygen on your brain. Simply take Brain Maxima daily. Within just a few days, you'll feel exciting changes in your life. You'll find yourself sleeping better and waking more rested, but with new, exciting energy. You are ready to take on the world. You are no longer foggy, and you no longer find yourself forgetting things. You feel calm and alert at the same time. You feel less stressed and can process information fluidly. Don't be surprised if you end up with extra hours in your day. It is common for people to get so much more done in a shorter period of time when they have all their attention focused. They just never realized how slow they were moving in the past. Weight may also begin to fall off your body, as you won't need the quick fix of sugar or carbs anymore. Also, virtually everyone finds their sex drive goes up as your mind feels younger, sexier, and more vibrant. I can't tell you exactly when it will happen. It may be in a few days, or it could take a few weeks, but it certainly will happen. It's something I call the magic moment. The magic moment is when you wake up one day and realize that something is different. Your senses feel more powerful. You are more alert, centered, and on point. The air feels crisp and your mind feels alive. Like a light that was off for a long time has suddenly turned on. Your sense of excitement, curiosity, and wonder have soared, and your soul just feels like everything is right. Then you realize that's the way we humans were supposed to feel all along. And now that your brain is running like a finely tuned machine, you know that you will always feel this incredible. It's a feeling you can't really put a price on. Our mind is our most precious asset. Without it, we can't fully enjoy anything else. Isn't it time you gave yourself the gift of a balanced, nourished, properly functioning brain and a strong, vigorous mental outlook that keeps you feeling your best and living the long, healthy, joyful life you deserve? Click on the link now and give Brain Maxima a try. With this risk-free offer, you have nothing to lose. Once you click the option that suits you best, you will be taken to the next page that looks like this. All you need to do is enter your information and finalize your order there. Then, in a few days, you will receive your package in the mail. Again, this has been David Goodman. Thank you for your time. I really hope you'll take action now and join us. If you're still here, you probably have some questions. The most common ones my clients ask me are, what are the other ingredients and what do they do? The ingredients I didn't go over are vitamin C, B1, B2. These are vitamins that get burned up by stress. So any supplement for the brain absolutely needs to have these vitamins. GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA is one of the main neurotransmitters in your brain. GABA promotes relaxation and is used to improve sleep cycles and to reduce blood pressure and stress. GABA gives your mind and body a feeling of calmness and relaxation. In the absence of GABA, these neurotransmitters are not regulated and can cause restlessness, irritability, and insomnia. This is important to include if you want to improve focus. The reason is because stress, anxiety, overexcitability disrupt your ability to focus and concentrate. It forces your attention to jump all over the place. So one of the keys to prolonged focus and concentration is to relax the mind and body. GABA is a powerful brain chemical that does that. Ginseng panax is an adaptogenic herb. Adaptogenics are natural herbs that make your body and nervous system adapt to stress. If your body and mind is overstressed, adaptogenics will calm them down. If it is understimulated, it will stimulate it into action. As you now know, stress is the most destructive factor for your brain. So we want as much ammunition we can give to your brain to combat the effect of stress and recover from it. L-glutathione is one of the most powerful antioxidants today. It is also included to repair the damage of stress. When we are stressed, excessive free radicals are created in the brain. Free radicals are extremely destructive. They accelerate aging and damage cells. Scientists are suspecting that these free radicals are one of the main culprits of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. L-glutathione is a natural substance our body creates to combine with free radicals and neutralize them. Are there any side effects from Brain Maxima? There are no harmful side effects. Occasionally, some people feel extra sleepy or extra energetic when they start taking it. Think of it this way. Whatever was blocked in your body starts to get released. If you were exhausted but your nervous system was wired, then your body has not had a chance to deeply relax for a very long time. When Brain Maxima starts to restore balance through your brain signals, that pent-up exhaustion can suddenly be released, and this can feel like a sudden sleepiness. The best thing to do in this case is just let yourself sleep and get caught up. This is nothing to be alarmed by. If your body's energy signals from the brain were blocked because of poor brain health, they can also be pent up, and when they are released, you can feel a sudden surge of energy. Some people were not ready for this, and they ended up staying up later than they would have liked. That will normalize very soon. To be safe, you can avoid taking Brain Maxima at dinner time so you don't run the risk of being too awake at bedtime. But after a few days, you should be fine to take it anytime. What are the shipping costs? Shipping is completely free. We are serious about helping as many people attain the full benefits of their minds today and make it as affordable as possible. So we will absorb all the shipping costs. The price you see is the price you pay. Are the ingredients safe? They sound like scary chemicals. Yes, they are absolutely safe. Every single ingredient is something your body already produces. As we age and as we continue to eat a poor diet, not get enough rest, or not get enough exercise, the levels of these chemicals in our bodies start to drop. All we are doing with Brain Maxima is replenishing them with extremely high-quality supplements. Click on the link below and give Brain Maxima a try. With this risk-free offer, you have nothing to lose.